Welcome to the Be Here Now Guest Podcast. This series features a collection of teachings and conversations centered around mindfulness, spiritual growth, and living a life in balance. Each week, our diverse network of guest teachers and hosts offer up wisdom and practices from a different spiritual path and perspective. If you would like to support this podcast, please visit BeHereNowNetwork.com/donate.
So this morning we're going to do some meditation on the breath, beginning with the breath. But I just want to give you a little bit of background because this is really one of the Buddha's core teachings is awareness of the breath. But it's also true that in all spiritual traditions, really many around the world, awareness of the breathing is considered an essential skill, and it's something that's cultivated to strengthen and steady and focus and connect with this immense current of aliveness that flows through us, in us, as us, that we're often too, busy in our minds to sense and feel and appreciate. It's way bigger than anything our mind can think or think about even. And the other reason that I really love the practices of being with the breath is that the breath is our lifelong companion. It's our partner. It's the partner that never deserts us, never goes away, never betrays us. It's always with us as long as we're alive, in each moment of our existence, which is such a trustworthy companion all the time, and reflecting our different states of mind. And we'll get into that more when we meditate. For people for whom the breath may not be a comforting subject of meditation, you can always focus on the sensations in your body, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the clothes on your body, your skin, on sounds, and I'll say a little more of that when I guide the meditation so that you don't feel left out. And for some people, if you have asthma or something, the breath is not a comfort and a soothing practice. But the Buddha's teaching on breath awareness is called Anapanasati. And in Sanskrit, Anapanasati, and it means mindfulness of breathing. Sati is mindfulness. It's the Pali word sati is actually a feminine word. And I love this because it's receptive. And mindfulness is receiving the moment, receiving what's happening within and without our bodies in this life. And also the word for mind and heart is the same in Sanskrit and Pali, chitta. And what if we thought of it as heartfulness? It has a different flavor when you think heartfulness. So we're talking about heartful awareness. Ram Dass called it loving awareness of the breath. And Anapana just refers to the inhalation and the exhalation. Such a simple practice. And the Buddha gave this special teaching of Anapanasati to his disciples at the end of one of their annual 3-month retreats that they did during the rainy season. And he did it in Shravasti, which was the capital of the kingdom where they were. And a very devoted lay follower, Anathapindika, he donated a whole forest to the Sangha so that they would have a secluded and protected place to practice. And just as today, people donate to create a retreat center so that we have a protected and safe place to practice. And you can still visit the Jeddah Grove if you've been ever on pilgrimage in India, and you can see the crumbled brick walls of the monastery that was there 2,000 years ago. It's very moving. The buildings aren't there, but these little crumbled brick walls, you can see the little rooms where the monastics practiced. And it's very moving to see what's left and still remains of that monastery that they built there. So we can imagine ourselves here in this particular, for now it's a monastery while we're doing the retreat, and imagine ourselves like the disciples of the Buddha. They've been meditating for 3 months. We've been meditating for part of an evening and a day. But the point is, we're settling down. We're getting more present. They, of course, were very, very settled and present after all that time. And the teaching was given in the full moon. And you may have noticed we're going to have the full moon while we're here, which is also, it feels very auspicious, like we can travel back 2,500 years and listen to the Buddha giving these teachings and really listen with our own hearts. And so what he said was that the development of awareness, this heartful awareness, excuse me, this is slipping. So sometimes if this slips, let me know if you can't hear me in back, okay? Just like wave or something. It's really important because these teachings have been remembered and passed on century after century after century because, as the Buddha said, he said that to develop and pursue Anapanasati, the mindfulness of the breathing, is of great benefit. It's really a great fruit, which means it will really nourish our life. And we're talking about not so much mindfulness of the breath, which separates us slightly, but mindfulness, heartfulness with the breath, so that you can be actually breathing and thinking about other things. And that's okay, as long as you are present with that movement of the breath, and staying with the breath like that while being aware of other things going on in your mind teaches you so much about yourself and who you are and what your mind likes to reflect on. And as you stay with the breath, the deepening experience of focus translates into all the other experiences, all the other activities that we do here today. And it just strengthens and develops your capacity to be present with experience. And the last thing I want to say, one Tibetan teacher, he said, one of the early teachers here in America, he said the best way to tame a crazy busy mind, the best way to tame the crazy busy mind is to give it something to play with. And he said, it's just kind of like a toy, a teddy bear. And in meditation, the teddy bear is your breath. So when you're worried or sad, the breath can calm you down, right? Like a child with a teddy bear. And, children get interested in other things. They play with other toys, but they always come back to their bear or their loved stuffy, whichever kind of animal it is. And it's the same with us. Our minds, too, are going to constantly pick things up, get distracting, all kinds of distracting content, but we are going to quite easily find the breath again. And, over and over again, coming back to this teddy bear of breath, and beginning again, I've worked with children so much of my life, so I think about how children with comfort objects, like a teddy bear, they've done studies. I don't know who spends their time studying this, but it's really interesting that they are actually more confident and focused than kids who don't have that. So, just like the breath can do for us, the teddy bear helps the child bear the ups and downs of their child life, and they feel they have a partner to steady them and keep them company, just as we do. And guess what? The teddy bear doesn't judge them, and the breath doesn't judge us. And sometimes it might feel more like like you're, trying to tame a wild and frightened animal than cuddle a teddy bear when the mind is in certain spaces. But gradually, with time and practice, as we're about to begin, we find our way. We find our way through, and we begin to trust that our life is workable and that we don't have to do it alone. So we're here to support each other, to be with the teddy bear of breath. And I want to invite you to just find your comfortable sitting posture. And I want to read you just a bit of a poem. It's just a fragment of a poem by Lynn Ungar. And I love this spirit. And you, she says, what of your rushed and useful life? Imagine setting it all down. Papers, plans, appointments, everything. Leaving only a note. Gone to the forest to be lovely. Back when I'm through with breathing. Okay, so I like to begin by taking 3 deep conscious breaths just to smooth out our energy, calm down, and slow the heartbeat. So a deep breath in and releasing. And one more time, breathing in the aliveness of this moment. And breathing out, releasing any tension. And last time, deep breath in and relaxing out. And you can take 2 or 3 more quiet, relaxing breaths. Just feeling the breath as it fills the body and releases. And again, for any of you who prefer not to focus on the breath, you can feel the sensations in the body, the sensations associated with breathing, and the felt sense of the body sitting here. And taking one breath at a time. Keeping each breath company with your heartful attention. The whole length of the breath, from the beginning to the end. Just allowing the breath to breathe at its own natural rhythm. And noticing where it is in your body that you most easily sense or feel the breath. It might be a coolness or tingling in the nostrils or the back of the throat. Or a soft, subtle warmth on the upper lip It might be the rise and fall of the chest and the belly. Or maybe the sensations of the whole body breathing. Wherever you can most easily feel the natural rhythm of the breath, just rest your kind attention there. It could be anywhere that feels good to you. And gently notice whenever the attention wanders away into the past or the future. And as you feel each breath, sense how it can calm and relax you as you naturally breathe in and out. This is not about trying to control the breath, but just being aware of what breathing is actually doing. Are breaths long or short? Shallow or deep? Smooth or choppy? And breath by breath, we're practicing the art of steady focus and kind attention. And we're also studying the birth and death of experience, how one breath is born and is breathed and then passes away, making room for the next breath that is born and has its being and vanishes. And the same is true of sound. Even in the stillness, just noticing any subtle sound and how it arises and passes away. Or the sensations in the body, the same. And as you notice the changing nature of the breath, the same is true of sensations in the body. Can sense and feel the appearing and disappearing. This breathing is always here. It doesn't stop. And just allowing, trusting the process that goes through changes. And every shift, every aspect has an easeful quality to it. Breathe in, noticing the slight pause between the breaths. Breathe out all the way to the end of the out breath where it just dissolves into space. Being at ease with all the changes. In breath, out breath. Soothing, refreshing, filling, emptying, opening, massaging, allowing yourself to relax into the deep safety of being held by something you can trust. The deep security of resting with something that carries your life. This deep safety comes from not having to make it happen, to do it, to create it, but just relaxing into it. Just relaxing into the movement of the breath, the dance of sensations, the sounds appearing and disappearing. You can sense some freedom and ease. This immense movement of life carries you softly, tenderly. It's loving. It's benevolent. And just allowing yourself to relax into the profound goodness of being safe and loved by your own breathing that's always here. We're gently growing a sense of trust, allowing the body to release, to breathe out, to take the time to breathe in, and it will. Take your time. Pause, open, and trust that after you breathe out, you will breathe in. And just appreciating the freedom from having to make it happen, to make it work, to do it perfectly. Just allowing the breath to gently bring you back home to right here, right now. And after the out breath, the empty openness fills with an inhalation, like the tide. A wave moves in and then pulls back, empties and releases. Waves of breath, ebbing and flowing like the tide. Reliable, trustworthy. And the same with the various sensations of aliveness in the body. The perception of stillness, punctuated by a sound. If there's any edgy feeling in the body or the mind, just shift the body back, maybe half an inch or an inch into this posture of receptivity, receiving the breath. Receiving this tender caress of the breath in the body. And this is safety. We can trust being held in the arms of these mountains and the pine forest, held in the embrace of aliveness.